Hello and good evening. I was just thinking, I don't know about you. I'm sure if you're old enough to watch this video, you probably have lived a little bit of life and dated, met some people, and got to know people. Maybe even married once or twice, 3, 4, or 5, I don't know, times. But anyways, I want to put this thought out because I myself have married multiple times. And as I've matured, I have realized that marrying does not mean commitment. It does not mean love. It does not mean compatibility. It does not mean longevity. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of us put the cart before the horse, as my grandmother would say. And I realized what I was doing, and which many people have done, is we married the idea of a person. We never really took our time, most of us, to get to know the person. And when I say taking our time, that does not mean getting into bed with them. It does not mean swapping biologique with them either. You know what I mean? What it means is day to day, being in conversation, because that's important. Not only being in conversation, but seeing how they live, where they live. I would say more so how they live, because you could live in the best of neighborhood and be a hoarder, have a horrible house on the inside, but gorgeous on the outside because you could pay for a lawn service or, somebody to come and paint, whatever. But knowing how they live, how they keep their space is important, because you want to know if that models how you live. You don't want to marry somebody who likes to live in a house that's painted all black on the inside and you like pastels. It's not going to work. Even if you compromise, after a while, that's not going to work. You want to know what type of values system they have. You want to know how they see morality, how they judge right and wrong. All these things are getting to know the person, and it's not a direct thing, it's an indirect thing I've come to know, because a lot of times in life, if you ask somebody something directly, you're going to get an answer that's made and modeled just for you. And it doesn't mean that the model is actually who they say they really are. You want to test the water, okay? Always indirectly. So again, I want to leave this thought with you. Take your time to get to know people. Don't fall in love with the idea, because the idea is the model. It's not the real McCoy. And again, indirectly test them out, find out who they are, engage, re-engage, take your time, see how they also handle conflict and disagreement and indifference. Test the waters. You must. Because if you jump and you're too hasty, too anxious, just like the majority of us humans, you'll have wasted time that you will not be able to get back. Although there are lessons in time, but youth is priceless. It is. Although I will say this too, God does restore youth. But if you can avoid the bumps and bruises, why not? Why not? Why not? So take your time, get to know the person. And when I say get to know them, let me put this clause in for you. You can also dismiss them if you don't want to continue getting to know them. Try to be tactful about it. You can gauge the response. And never, ever, this is how, another refreshing thing, don't bring people in close. When I say close, you might you can do a background check to see how they are, if they've had any criminality. You be the judge, and you gauge it as you may. But don't bring people into your personal life in the sense of, your finances, meeting your children too fast. Again, you have to gauge these things because it could be somebody you meet at a party that knows somebody you know, and they know them, and blah, blah, blah. So every situation is different. But in a case where, the person, you don't know anything about them, nobody knows them but you've met them out in the streets, as they say, or wherever you meet them, at the bar, whatever, on a trip. It's wise to do a background check. It is. You can do small, large, go to your police department, whatever you decide. But again, don't fall in love with the idea. You fall in love with the person. And that's a refreshing thought, because the person is who you've got to grow to know and grow with and get to know. And it's going to be for a lifetime. So it's got to be some main important factors that glue and build the structure, because you want to have a solid foundation. It's like a business. The investments are good, but you got to build the building first. The building has to be built. You're not going to build it. It has to be built. It has to have steady foundation, structure, things that are going to fertilize the soil and the seeds that you both plant, so to speak. I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying. I've thought about this a lot, and I'm a mature person with wisdom and still gaining. I wouldn't go with the age thing, because that's not always true either. I don't want to have you growing up, if you're young, thinking that that's something to look for, because age does not mean maturity. It does not. Anyways, I'm going to get off of here, and nice chatting with you, and have a good rest of the day, the evening, and the night, and a tomorrow, and many other tomorrows to come. And, oh, one more thing. With all this, let's start from point A, because I kind of went through the alphabet here. Point A, get to know you first, because then when you know you better, and what you want, what you like, how you handle difficulties, changes, behavioral things that you need to work on to change to be better at responding, so that you can have more honey with bees instead of flies and vinegar. Okay? All right. Because it's important to find out who you are and what you want as well. And what you like, what your values are, and your even your argument style and your stance on things. So find that out. And sometimes person can be an extrovert or introvert or both. That's also important to consider. Do you want to party, or do you? Because you could compromise at first, but I tell you what, after a while, that gets old. It does. If you're not that type of person, you will get bored, because your mind needs more. Your mind will need more to grow. Yeah. So anyways, God bless. Love you. Have a good night.